This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of First Cobalt, Mr. Trent Mell. Trent, how are you this afternoon?
Hey, Gerardo, I'm great. Thanks for having me back on.
Thanks for taking the time. Big news out of Glen Coors Congo unit as it's halting sales of cobalt. It's found uranium that for them is above the acceptable level. That's a big deal. I couldn't think of a better person to call than you to get your take. Can you give me your insights there, Trent?
Yeah, this is a huge shock for us in the industry. The biggest cobalt mine in the world, controlled by the biggest cobalt miner in the world, Glencore, has come out and said that they can't ship any more cobalt out of that operation. And so, cobalt's been feeling a little bit of pain since April when people were worried that maybe we got enough supply for the next little while. This is a game changer. We've got uranium. We know there's uranium in the DRC, in the copper belt, but we didn't think we were going to see it out of Katanga's operations. And the fact that you now have it within their hydroxide, their intermediate product they're producing, creates a real problem because they can't even ship that out of the country. You got to get that arsenic. You got to get the uranium out of there. But to do that, they need to build and permit a whole new facility to now retreat the material that they've recently produced.
Now, you mentioned that it's been a tough go for companies with exposure to cobalt, First Cobalt being no exception. You've been buying all the way down, though. I see the insider reports. You and the management team has done a great job of keeping skin in the game. The company, of course, is focused on domestic sourcing of cobalt. You recently had some news in late October. You had mineralization that showed mineralization in zones thicker than previously reported. And there was also some additional mineralization between two recognized zones. All that was in the release. Can you provide some color to that?
Yeah, so you've got two important points there. Let me start first by addressing the stock price and the fact that I've been buying as the stock has come under pressure. So, for my existing shareholders out there, I feel your pain, and I want to demonstrate to people that we still believe in this asset. I believe in it. This is the Idaho piece has quickly become our flagship. Cobalt Camp in Ontario, great asset, but we're dedicating most of our resources now to getting Idaho up to production stage, or at least development stage. And the reason I've been buying, look, we're all at 52-week lows, not just me, but a lot of the lithium juniors, a lot of the cobalt juniors, that's all of the cobalt juniors. We've all been feeling the same pain until this massive piece of news that came out this morning that sent us all back on the right trajectory. And so why am I buying? Well, when you look around the world, we know after a year or two of juniors popping up and trying to explore for cobalt assets, it's not easy to come by out of Africa, and particularly out of the Congo. And we've got lucky. Idaho is a fabulous jurisdiction. It's primary cobalt. We've got Henrik Fisker, who's joined our board. It's a great show of support. And I believe within a year from now, we will have probably the best. We'll demonstrate that we've got the best cobalt deposit outside of Africa. It's that good. And every drill hole we put in that ground is hitting mineralization and good widths. We're not talking about these short little widths. We're talking 10, 20, 30 meters of economic grade, potentially economic grade. We got to do the studies, but stay tuned. This is going to move fast for us.
Now, we've spoken in the past, Trent, and you believe that you can double the strike length and down dip depth. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So, and we know from surface sampling, historic drilling, and just the rocks that we're in, that we've demonstrated in our resource a little over 500 meters of mineralization in the maiden resource we came out with just a little over a month ago. We are doubling that as we speak. Everything is on track to achieve what we want to achieve. And likewise, the down dip extent of mineralization goes down 150 meters from the surface. And we're testing that down to 300 meters. Again, we certainly got into 250, and I can tell you, very happy with what we're seeing. And so, in light of some tough markets, what we're probably going to do is look to put out a resource estimate in March of next year, maybe mid-March, where we'll try to aim for maybe a 50% increase and just show some encouragement to the market, and then we'll get the double later on in the year. And at that point, we can do an economic study, a preliminary economic analysis to try to demonstrate to the world what a mine might look like here in Idaho.
You mentioned wanting to make sure that existing shareholders and potentially new ones are aware of the fact that you feel their pain. You shut down your Vancouver office and you move the finance and accounting operations to the Toronto head office. Can you speak to that a bit, Trent?
Sure. Yeah. Part of it was just there's two sides to that. One is I had a part-time CFO and team out of Vancouver, just inefficient. This is going to be, it is a real company now. 2017 was quite a lot of M&A transactions, brought 4 companies together, raised money, built a team. And now that we've got a flagship here in Idaho, we've got to start behaving like a real company. And so that's step one. Step two, shutting down the office is going to save us some money. We don't need 2 offices. And so in what has been a tough time right now, and now that we know where to focus our time and our resources, I'm looking to save money wherever I can, cut expenses, cut unnecessary drill programs, travel, whatever. People, I'm kind of running the company up until today, again, when Cobalt was suffering a bit. The message to my team is, let's run this company like it's 2008 all over again. We've got to be very judicious with shareholder money and how we spend it, and spend it like our own. And that's part of the message I'm trying to send here.
Fantastic. Trent, anything else that you'd like to add?
No, stay tuned. I mean, so for us, you look at where we are today, and you look at Cobalt, Ontario, we've got big land package, we've got a refinery, we've got Idaho. I would say that it's very clear now our flagship is Idaho, and our focus is going to be there. The Ontario mines and property, while interesting, they're just not as advanced, and that leaves us with the refinery. The refinery, in my view, stay tuned for some news on this. That's a source of cash flow, and if we can start that up, I'd sell it as well, maybe, but certainly start it up, generate some cash flow. That would go a long way to funding a lot of our activities in Idaho and minimize that dilution going forward. So for now, right now, it's about minimizing the share count going forward, trying to conserve capital, and trying to create some shareholder value on the back of what's been a tough 8 or 9 months for the market.
Trent, thorough as always. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Gerardo. You take care.